I'm 80. I'm careful who I let into my home. Here's why. As someone who's lived through 8 decades of life, I've seen the world change in countless ways. Some of these changes have been wonderful: technological advances, societal progress, and seeing my family grow. But alongside the good, there have always been challenges, including learning who I can truly trust. At my age, I've learned that being cautious about who you allow into your home is not just common sense, it's a necessary safeguard. Whether it's about protecting your physical space, your emotional well being, or your personal business, there's wisdom in being careful. Let me share a few stories, lessons, and practical advice that have shaped this belief and helped me protect myself and my home. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. The home is your sanctuary. Your home is more than walls, furniture, and a roof overhead. It's the very heart of your life story. It's where your happiest memories are tucked away, where you've laughed with loved ones, where you've weathered storms, both literal and emotional. It holds the echoes of family dinners, the whispers of bedtime stories, and the soft murmurs of prayers said in private. Your home is sacred. It is your retreat from the chaos of the world, your safe harbor where you can be entirely yourself, unguarded and at peace. Allowing someone into that space isn't just about opening a door. It's about granting them access to the life you've built brick by brick, moment by moment. Every time someone steps over that threshold, they bring with them their energy, their intentions, and their presence. And not all of these are benign. Some come with warmth and love, but others, even if they don't realize it themselves, bring envy, judgment, or even harm. I once heard someone describe their home as a mirror of their soul. It resonated deeply with me. Think about it. When someone enters your home, they're stepping into a reflection of who you are. The pictures on your walls, the books on your shelves, the small tokens of travel or family heirlooms, they all tell a story about you. And while sharing that story can be a beautiful thing, it should only be shared with those who will treat it with the care it deserves. Unfortunately, not everyone values that sacredness. Some see your sanctuary not as a place to be respected, but as a space to be exploited. They don't see the memories you've woven into its fabric. They see an opportunity. Maybe it's what you have: a comfortable chair, a valuable possession, or even the appearance of an easy life that draws them in. Or perhaps it's simply the knowledge that you've let your guard down, trusting them with something so personal. That trust is precious, and when it's misplaced, the harm runs deep. I've had experiences where I allowed people into my home, only to realize later that their intentions were not as pure as they seemed. They admired too much, asked too many questions, and lingered too long with their eyes scanning my belongings rather than meeting my gaze. It's a strange and unsettling feeling to realize that someone who smiles warmly at you might be mentally calculating the value of what you own, or worse, plotting ways to undermine you. Your sanctuary deserves more than that. It deserves protection. Not just physical locks on the doors or cameras on the porch, though those are important, but boundaries that preserve its peace. Saying no to someone entering your home isn't an act of hostility, it's an act of self-preservation. Your sanctuary isn't just a space, it's the container for your peace, your memories, and your well-being. There's a particular stillness to a home that's been guarded carefully, a stillness that feels like peace. It's the feeling of walking into a space where nothing but love and respect has been allowed to enter. It's the warmth of knowing that your most vulnerable self is safe, cradled by walls that have witnessed your journey and protected you through it all. So be careful. Be selective. Treat your sanctuary with the same reverence that you treat your heart, because in many ways, they are one and the same. Only those who truly honor you deserve to step inside. 2. Kindness is a gift, not an invitation. Kindness is one of life's most profound gifts. It has the power to heal wounds, bridge divides, and create connections that last a lifetime. As we age, kindness often becomes a guiding principle, a way to navigate the world with grace and compassion. But kindness, as beautiful as it is, must be offered with discernment. Not everyone who receives your kindness will honor it. For some, it becomes an opportunity to take more than what's offered, leaving you with less than you deserve. I've learned this lesson the hard way. In my earlier years, I believed kindness should be extended to all without hesitation, and for many years, I lived by that philosophy. But as time went on, I began to see how some people misinterpreted kindness as an open invitation, a weakness to exploit rather than a virtue to cherish. It's a painful realization, but an important one. Kindness, when given without boundaries. There was a time when a handyman came to my home to fix a minor repair. He seemed pleasant and helpful, but as the day went on, I noticed he wasn't just focused on the task at hand. He was asking questions that felt too personal: how long I'd lived alone, what I did with my time, and whether I had family nearby. At first, I brushed it off, thinking he was just being friendly. But then I noticed his eyes wandering around my home, lingering too long on certain items. The repair was completed, but something felt unsettled. Days later, I received an unexpected knock at the door. It was the same man, this time asking if he could come back to check on the work. I politely declined, but his persistence left me uneasy. I couldn't help but wonder if my kindness, my willingness to welcome him into my space, had sent the wrong message. That experience stayed with me, a reminder that while kindness is powerful, it must also be paired with caution. Kindness should never require you to sacrifice your sense of safety or well being. It is a gift you give, not a debt you owe. And when it's met with respect and gratitude, it can transform relationships and strengthen connections. But when it's met with entitlement or manipulation, it's okay to pull back and protect yourself. You are not unkind for setting boundaries, you are wise. One of the greatest challenges as we age is learning how to balance kindness with self preservation. We've been taught to be generous, to open our hearts and our homes, and to treat others as we wish to be treated. These are noble principles, but they don't mean you must ignore red flags or put yourself in harm's way for the sake of appearing kind. True kindness begins with kindness to yourself. When you guard your kindness with care, it becomes even more valuable. It's not something to be taken for granted or used against you. It's a reflection of your heart, a treasure that should be shared only with those who understand its worth. Remember, kindness is not about letting everyone in. It's about choosing wisely who you allow to stay. 3. People can wear masks. In life, we often find ourselves surrounded by people who seem kind, trustworthy, and genuine. They smile warmly, speak gently, and offer help when we least expect it. But as I've grown older, I've learned that not everyone who appears friendly has good intentions. Some people wear masks, masks of kindness, generosity, or concern, to hide their true motives. It's a hard truth to accept, but understanding it can save you from heartbreak and betrayal. There was a time when I met someone who seemed to embody the very essence of a good neighbor. She was always ready with a smile and quick to ask how I was doing. At first, I felt lucky to have someone so thoughtful nearby. She would stop by with small gifts, a basket of fruit, a bouquet of flowers, and she always seemed genuinely interested in my well-being. I trusted her. I invited her into my home, and soon enough, she became a regular visitor. But over time, I began to notice subtle changes in her behavior. Her questions became more probing. Do you get help managing your finances? Who checks on you during the week? Where do you keep your important documents? At first, I didn't think much of it. I thought she was just being conversational. But something didn't sit right with me. Her questions felt too specific, as though she was gathering information rather than simply chatting. The day my suspicions were confirmed, still stings. She had offered to help me organize some papers in my study. I thought it was a kind gesture and allowed her to assist. But a few days later, I realized something was missing. A small but important piece of jewelry I had kept in my desk drawer. It wasn't valuable to anyone but me, but its disappearance left me shaken. I couldn't prove she had taken it, but the timing was too coincidental. It felt like a betrayal, and the worst part was knowing I had let it happen by trusting too easily. This experience taught me a valuable lesson. People can hide their true selves behind a mask of kindness. Sometimes, these masks slip quickly, revealing their intentions. Other times, it takes months or even years to see the truth. But eventually, patterns emerge, and if you pay attention, you'll notice the cracks. These masks are often worn by those who envy what you have, whether it's your possessions, your peace of mind, or even your independence. They may seem supportive, but deep down, they're searching for ways to take advantage of your trust. That's why it's so important to be discerning, even when someone seems friendly and well-meaning. Trust is not something to be given lightly. It must be earned through consistent actions over time. It doesn't make you cold or unkind to question someone's intentions. It makes you wise. At this stage in life, you've seen enough of the world to know that appearances can be deceiving. The truth is, genuine people don't mind proving themselves. They don't rush into your life, nor do they pry into your personal matters. They respect your boundaries and earn your trust by showing, not just saying, that they care. So, the next time someone new comes into your life, take a step back and observe. Do their words match their actions? Are they truly there to support you, or are they fishing for information? Do they respect your space, or do they subtly push boundaries? Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. The masks people wear can be convincing, but they're not impenetrable. Over time, their true intentions will reveal themselves, and when they do, you'll be glad you took the time to see beyond the surface. Protect your home, your peace, and your heart. You deserve to be surrounded by those who love you for who you are, not what they can take from you. 4. Scammers target seniors. As the years go by, we like to believe that the world grows kinder with us. But experience has shown me that aging often brings new challenges, especially when it comes to being targeted by those who see our wisdom and resources as vulnerabilities to exploit. Scammers know this all too well, and they prey on seniors with carefully crafted lies, hoping to take advantage of our goodwill and trusting nature. I remember one incident that still sends chills down my spine. A man knocked on my door one morning wearing a polished uniform and carrying a clipboard. He claimed to be collecting donations for a veterans charity and even handed me a brochure with official-looking logos and testimonials. At first glance, everything seemed legitimate. He spoke with authority and kindness, sharing stories of how the donations would help homeless veterans. My heart ached and I reached for my checkbook. But something stopped me. As he continued to talk, I noticed small inconsistencies in his story. A hesitation when I asked about the charity's office location and vague answers about how the funds would be used. My instincts kicked in, and I decided to do some research. After he left, I looked up the charity online and discovered it didn't exist. He had fabricated everything, hoping to prey on my compassion. I was grateful I hadn't handed over any money, but the experience left me shaken. Scammers are clever, and they know exactly how to manipulate emotions. They might knock on your door, call your phone, or send you mail that looks urgent, hoping to create a sense of pressure or fear. They often target seniors because they assume we're less tech savvy or more likely to trust authority figures, but we can outsmart them. The key is to stay vigilant and never let urgency override caution. Here's what I've learned. If something feels off, trust that feeling. Don't rush into decisions, especially when money or personal information is involved. Take your time to verify claims, whether by researching online, calling a trusted family member, or consulting a friend. Scammers thrive on confusion and fear, but they crumble under scrutiny. Remember, your kindness and generosity should be directed toward those who genuinely deserve it, not those who manufacture lies to exploit it. Protecting yourself isn't just about safeguarding your finances, it's about preserving your peace of mind. You've worked too hard and lived too long to let a stranger take advantage of you. Stay cautious, stay informed, and know that it's always okay to say no. 5. Boundaries are healthy. If there's one thing I've learned in my 8 decades of life, it's that setting boundaries is one of the most important acts of self respect you can practice. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out, they are guidelines that protect your peace and define how others can engage with you. They allow you to decide who enters your life, your home, and your heart. At this stage, when peace is more precious than ever, boundaries are not just healthy, they are essential. There was a time when I struggled with setting boundaries. I thought saying no was rude or selfish, so I often went out of my way to accommodate others. I allowed people into my home who drained my energy, shared more of my personal life than I should have, and even endured conversations that made me uncomfortable. All because I didn't want to offend anyone. But over time, I realized that every yes I gave when I wanted to say no was a small betrayal of myself. The turning point came when a distant acquaintance began showing up unannounced. She would ring the doorbell and act as though it was no big deal to pop in just to chat. At first, I welcomed her out of politeness, but her visits became more frequent and more intrusive. She would comment on the things I owned, ask prying questions about my family, and even suggest changes to how I lived my life. I felt uncomfortable but didn't know how to tell her to stop. One day, after she left, I sat down and thought about what it was costing me to keep letting her in, not just in terms of time, but also peace of mind. I realized that her visits were a disruption to my sanctuary and that I had every right to protect that. The next time she appeared, I greeted her at the door and gently but firmly told her that I preferred to plan visits ahead of time. She looked surprised, but she respected it. From that moment on, I felt a weight lift. Boundaries don't need to be harsh or confrontational. They just need to be clear. They are a way of honoring yourself and teaching others how to treat you. Whether it's deciding who enters your home, how much of your time you give, or what topics you're comfortable discussing, boundaries create the space for you to live authentically and peacefully. They're not about shutting people out, they're about inviting the right people in. And here's the beauty of it: those who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. They won't take offense because they understand that boundaries are an expression of self love, not rejection. The ones who resist, they were never meant to be in your life in the first place. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about being unkind, it's about being wise. And at this stage in life, wisdom is your greatest ally, is your 6. A historical lesson. History is often our greatest teacher, and one lesson that has stayed with me is the story of Christopher Columbus and his encounter with the indigenous peoples of the Americas. These were people of extraordinary kindness who opened their homes, their land, and their hearts to strangers. They offered food, shelter, and gifts to those who arrived on their shores, asking for nothing in return. Their generosity was boundless, rooted in their belief that kindness would be met with kindness. But Columbus and his men saw their generosity not as a gift, but as an opportunity. In his journals, he wrote about how the indigenous people seemed unaware of the value of their resources, gold, spices, and land. Instead of honoring the kindness they were shown, he saw it as a weakness to exploit. What followed was a betrayal of the deepest kind. The very people who had nursed them back to health and welcomed them as friends were enslaved, their land taken, their culture dismantled. This story, though painful, carries an important lesson. Kindness and openness
must be balanced with discernment. Not everyone who enters your life does so with good intentions. Some come not to give, but to take, to use your trust and generosity for their own gain. It's a sobering reminder that while kindness is a virtue, it must be paired with wisdom. As I reflect on this, I see parallels in our everyday lives. Whether it's a neighbor who seems too interested in your possessions, a distant relative asking for favors without offering support, or even a stranger at your door, it's important to remember that not all intentions are pure. Protecting what you've built, your home, your peace, your resources, isn't selfish. It's necessary. History has shown us the dangers of unchecked trust, but it has also shown us the power of resilience. By learning from the past, we can protect ourselves and our future. Be kind, yes, but be careful. Open your door with caution and never feel guilty for closing it when something doesn't feel right. After all, your sanctuary, your home, your heart, your life is worth protecting. 7. Your circle shrinks but becomes stronger. One of the inevitable truths of life is that as we grow older, our circle of friends and loved ones often becomes smaller. People move away, relationships shift, and sometimes we lose those closest to us. At first, this shrinking circle might feel like a loss, a sign that the world is closing in. But over time, I've come to see it as a gift, a refinement of the people who truly matter. In my younger years, I felt the need to maintain a wide circle of acquaintances. I was quick to trust and eager to please, always saying yes to invitations and opening my home to anyone who knocked. But as I aged, I began to see the value of quality over quantity. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table or a key to your home. True friendship isn't about how many people surround you. It's about the depth of the connections you share. The friends and family who remain in my life now are the ones who've proven their loyalty over time. These are the people who show up not just in moments of joy, but also in times of sorrow. They don't ask for more than I can give, and they respect my boundaries without question. With them, there's no need to wear a mask or put up a front. They accept me as I am, with all my strengths and imperfections. What I've learned is that a smaller circle often means a stronger one. The people who stay are those who truly care, not about what you can offer, but about who you are. They're the ones who check in on you without being asked, who celebrate your victories and comfort you in your struggles. And because the circle is smaller, you can pour more of your energy and love into those relationships, creating bonds that are unshakable. At this stage of life, there's no room for superficial connections or draining relationships. Time is precious, and so is your peace. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, who respect your boundaries, and who bring joy into your life. Let go of anyone who brings negativity or drama. It's not selfish. It's self-care. Your home, your time, and your energy are sacred. Protecting them doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means choosing wisely. When you focus on the people who truly matter, your circle becomes a sanctuary of love and trust. And in that sanctuary, you'll find a deeper sense of connection and contentment than you ever thought possible. 8. Trust your instincts. Over the years, one of the greatest lessons I've learned is the importance of trusting your instincts. That small voice inside you, the one that warns you when something feels off or urges you to take a second look. It's there for a reason. As we age, we accumulate wisdom from our experiences, and our instincts are shaped by all the things we've seen, felt, and survived. Ignoring them can come at a great cost, while listening to them can save us from harm. I remember an instance when a young man came to my door selling home improvement services. He was polite and well-spoken, and he carried brochures that looked professional. His pitch was convincing, and for a moment I considered hiring him. But something about the way he avoided making eye contact struck me as unusual. My instincts whispered, "Something isn't right."
I decided to ask a few questions. Where's your office located? Do you have references I can call? He stumbled over his answers, giving vague replies that didn't sit well with me. Instead of agreeing to his services, I thanked him politely and told him I'd think about it. Later, I did some research and found multiple complaints online about his so-called company, accusing them of taking money for work that was never completed. My instincts had been right. Trusting your gut isn't always about catching someone in a lie. It's about protecting your peace of mind. Sometimes it's as simple as feeling uneasy about someone's intentions or noticing subtle inconsistencies in their behavior. Maybe it's a friend who suddenly starts asking personal questions they never asked before, or a neighbor who becomes overly curious about your daily routine. Even if you can't put your finger on it, that feeling in your gut is often your subconscious picking up on things your conscious mind hasn't yet processed. Listening to your instincts doesn't mean being paranoid or closing yourself off from the world. It means being attuned to your surroundings and to the people you allow into your life. It's a way of respecting the wisdom you've earned through years of living. After all, how many times have you looked back on a situation and thought, I knew something was wrong, but I ignored it? As we age, we have the advantage of having made those mistakes before, and we can use that knowledge to navigate the present with greater care. Trusting your instincts also means being okay with saying no. If someone asks to come into your home and you feel uneasy, it's perfectly acceptable to decline. If a conversation feels too invasive or a request seems too demanding, you have every right to set a boundary. And if someone takes offense at your caution, that says more about them than it does about you. The beauty of trusting your instincts is that it empowers you to take control of your life. It allows you to make decisions based on what feels right for you rather than what others expect or demand. In a world where not everyone has your best interests at heart, your instincts are your greatest ally. They are a quiet but powerful force, guiding you to protect what matters most: your home, your time, your peace, and your well-being. At this stage in life, I've come to see my instincts as a form of self-care. They are a reminder that I've lived long enough to know when something doesn't feel right and that I deserve to prioritize my safety and happiness. So, my advice to anyone who has ever doubted their gut is this: listen to it, trust it, honor it, because more often than not, it's there to protect you and it's rarely wrong. Closing thoughts. At 80, I've learned that being careful about who you let into your home isn't about being paranoid, it's about being wise. Your home is your sanctuary, your safe space, and it deserves to be protected. Whether it's a nosy neighbor, a manipulative acquaintance, or even a well-meaning but intrusive friend, it's okay to set boundaries. Trust takes time to build, and not everyone who smiles at you deserves access to your life. Remember, kindness is a strength, but it's also important to be smart. Protect your home, protect your peace, and trust your instincts. After all, you've earned the right to live your life on your terms. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay wise. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching. And here's to living life on your own terms.